Well, after last weekend's altercation in Kansas, NASCAR made their opinion known right away. Last Monday, they hit Richard Childress with a $150,000 fine and probation through the rest of the calendar year. Today, Richard spoke to the media and at the racetrack to give his side of the story.
I guess the main thing is you know, I take all the responsibility for my actions last week. I'm very passionate about this sport. I'm passionate about my race teams, our fans, and I let my emotions come in front of my passion. But that's behind us. You know, I guess the next thing is, you know, the fine that was levied against me, I'm going to pay it personal. I agree that NASCAR should have done something with me. I don't agree that they didn't handle a situation that happened on the cool-down lap. And with that said, you know, we had a lot of fans to send in donations last week to the towards our fine. I'm going to pay it personally, and all that money that's been sent in, it's still coming in. We're going to take and donate it to the Childress Institute for Pediatric Trauma. At least in every bad situation, something good will come out of it. And hopefully Kyle and myself will both end up learning something from this. And thank y'all very much, and talk to you later. That's it.
There are always two sides to every story, so now for the other side of the story, let's go to Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Well, thank you, Johnny. Yes, we did get a chance finally to hear from RC 5 days after we had heard from Kyle Busch live on NASCAR Race Day. Now, Kyle did come into the media center and address this issue, or have a press conference, I should say, and what the media was asking was all about RC, of course. Here's what Kyle had to say.
What brought it up, I guess, you know, me giving a congratulatory bump to Joey Coulter is what tipped him over the edge there. You know, I don't recall any time face-to-face conversation where Richard did tell me, if you touch another one of my cars, I'm going to come find you. I don't know if it was ever said in the media, but it was never relayed to me. You know, if he came to me and was so upset about it, I would have offered him money to fix it. You know, I'm an owner in this sport. I know there's going to be torn up equipment here and there sometimes, whatever. And that, you know, I will say that if I didn't roll out of the throttle, we both would have crashed.
And to also follow up, Joe Gibbs Racing as a company said they still stand by what they said last Sunday, and they agreed with NASCAR. They felt comfortable with the decision NASCAR had made, and they had nothing to add other than they stood by what they had said previously in the week. And I also want to add that Richard Childress on the press release paper said he was going to have a press conference and then take questions from the media. He did not do that Q&A, so a lot of the media members were upset that they didn't get to ask Richard some follow-up questions, but nonetheless he did address the media today. Randy?
Well, Wendy, Kevin Harvick is certainly no stranger to controversy with Kyle Busch. So who better to get some insight from and to hear from on the issue between Richard Childress and Kyle Busch than Kevin Harvick? And earlier today, he addressed the media here at Pocono.
You know, Richard is one of those guys that's driven the race cars and understands what comes with being inside the car and the frustrations, and a lot of times Richard sides with the drivers. So more times than not in our competition meetings, on the racetrack, off the racetrack, and always has our back. So we've all got his back, and as you can tell, he's always got ours. So it's fun to drive for a guy that's got the passion and the desire to do what you have to do to be part of this sport. So he's a great guy, and I love being on his team.
Well, you can hear in Kevin Harvick's voice that he really appreciates the fact that Richard Childress sticks up for his race teams. There's one thing you can say about RCR, that whole group over there, they are a team, they're immersed together, and it's all for one and one for all. Johnny?
Randy, thanks a lot. Richard Childress certainly is an old-school racer, but Jeff Hammond, the one question a lot of people have, in your opinion, does that penalty fit the crime?
NASCAR thinks so. Now, I'm really a little bit hard about I think the fine itself was a little bit higher than I expected, and that's all. I know they needed to do something to him, JR. I would have thought that, you know, maybe $50,000 fine and maybe suspending him for a couple of races would have been more in line. But I'm not the one who knew all the ins and outs of what went on here, so I just know that sometimes second-guessing NASCAR, all it does right there is confuse people. Richard accepts it. That's the main thing right now, folks. If we can go along with what Richard wants to do here, and he feels like the crime and what he punishment was, I guess you might say, acceptable, with the exception of what they didn't do to Kyle Busch, then we need to live with it.
And also, a lot of questions, people, it should be kind of cleared up. The people are talking about this, NASCAR saying boys have at it and then fining people for fighting. It's not necessarily when they say boys have at it, they're saying punch each other out in the garage.
Well, I think that right now we need to also understand that, NASCAR has what they think is okay, and a lot of times it's kind of in a gray area, because if they make it black and white, which a lot of drivers want it to be black and white, that way they know where the edge is. They want to keep these guys guessing, a little bit off balance, so they don't get too far out of control. If they know that they can go up to here and do this, then that's what they're going to do. If they don't know what they can do, sometimes it'll keep them from, maybe making a fool out of themselves, if that would be the situation. But I still believe two drivers fighting on the racetrack is not a big deal. It's in the garage area with other people besides the drivers themselves. Team members, owners, they don't want that, and I think that's what the message is.
And it's very passionate. These people are very passionate about this sport, and a lot of emotions come out on race day in more ways than just one.